I think the biggest upset for the FA Cup was definitely Port Vale beating Sunderland.
Yeah, definitely.
For a team, right, like to put everything into context, right, we were saying that Mansfield Town is like what, 16th?
Yes.
Port Vale is dead last in League One, and they beat Sunderland. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Football Kaki. I'm your host Elder and I'm joined by my fellow Kaki bro, Nat. Nat, how you doing, bro?
It's good to be back once again.
Yes, nice to see you.
Our fellow Kaki bro, Paul, is not here today. So
yes,
I'll be stepping in for him.
He has gone to the land of the rising sun, just like you were at the end of last year.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, to be really frank, right, bro, like, I think I've never traveled outside of Singapore, outside of Asia, right, other than Hong Kong, which is Hong Kong. Right? And
Hong Kong's in Asia? What are you talking about?
No, as in like outside of Asia, right, the only Asian country I've ever traveled to, right, outside of Southeast Asia and Asia, right, is basically, in Asia, is Malaysia, Thailand, Asia, and Hong Kong. That's the only Asian countries I could do. I don't think you will count Australia as Asia, right?
Australia isn't Asia, but okay, sure. So in Asia, you've only traveled to these three?
Yes, these few.
Okay.
Plus Indonesia, like predominantly Southeast Asia.
I mean, you've been to Batam, you've been to Indonesia, so that counts.
Yeah, so that one is fair. Fair. As a Singaporean, if you've never gone to Malaysia, you're not really a Singaporean. Hey, that's fact, bro. Like, technically, we're the only country where every single person has a passport because you just want to travel out of the country for a holiday. You need a passport.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So that's what Asia. I've never been to Japan though.
Do you plan to go?
I would love to, but I'm still wondering whether like for me it's because I see a lot of Japan culture in video games a lot. So like one of the games I used to play was Yakuza.
Okay.
So, Tokyo, and then there was a portion that was in Osaka. So
okay.
It's one of the two of them lah. But
doesn't that make you like want to travel there or something? And like
I would, but just that like at the current place of where I am, right? One is that I don't really have a lot of people to travel with. Two is that I got a lot of new responsibilities at work. Three is I don't really have a time or stipulated place, and I'm kind of lazy to save up to go and travel.
Okay. More money for jerseys, I guess. No, but yeah, dude, Japan's fun. Japan's actually one of the few places like I don't mind going solo.
Yeah.
It's one of the few places you can get away with like going solo and still have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, because Japan generally is a relatively safe country, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Dude, it's so safe. Like I went there on a school trip. I won't say what school. And like one of the teachers was like Japanese, like grew up Japanese and like just immigrated to Singapore. And that time he was like, "Oh yeah, just go out and do whatever you want." Yeah, no, I'm dead serious. And this was like not a very like not saying nice. I mean like most of like Tokyo is like pretty safe. But this was one of the more like rougher parts of Tokyo that we were staying in, and he just like let us like loose, like 17, 18-year-olds like loose into the streets at night. It's so safe, dude. It's great. I love it.
I've seen like even like YouTubers or travelers, right? They will walk at like 2 a.m. in the middle of like Tokyo night time, right? Just to go to a place to eat ramen. Then I'm like,
yeah, no, that's the culture there. It's so cool. Okay, but enough about Japan glaze. Let's talk about Canada. Actually, I'm more interested in that. You know what's going on in Canada?
No, please enlighten me.
All right, so for our what's going on this week, we're going to be talking about the Canadian Premier League. Now, Eldad, you're probably asking me, what the hell is so special about the Canadian Premier League?
Now, before we get into today's episode, a special word from our sponsor.
And we're going to take a quick break in the podcast to thank our friends at City Music, one of Singapore's true pioneer in the music space. City Music has long been known as a go-to destination for musical instruments, but they've also been making big headway in audio and video equipment, especially for creators and podcasters. From guitars and pianos to audio interfaces, microphones, and even video recording equipment, City Music is true one-stop shop for everything music and content creation related, with options for every budget.
In fact, the audio you're hearing right now is recorded using the Zoom ZD-M1 mic, an amazing broadcast style microphone that delivers professional quality sound on par with other big name podcast mics, but at nearly half the price. It's proof that you don't have to overspend to sound great. A huge thank you to our friends at CD Music for being a pioneer in the music space and for making sure creators, musicians, and podcasters always have the right equipment for whatever budget and setup they want.
City Music,
powering your sound, your music, and your content.
And now, back to the episode. I kind of know what is it? Does it have to do with the new offside rule? Or
yes,
trial?
Actually, so actually the Arsene Wenger offside, for those of you who don't know, it's basically an offside rule where instead of the current offside rule that we know of, where if one part of the body is past the last defender, it counts as offside. They're trialing a new rule in the Canadian Premier League where the whole body actually has to be past the last defender in order to be considered offside. Arsene Wenger would be very happy about that because he was the one who actually proposed the rule, and I think he's actually in the board with FIFA somehow, so he probably has a hand in this one way or another. Thoughts about it?
Okay, so for me, right, just before we get into the context, right, just to let everyone know, these are what's going on. For other stuff, we'll talk about FA Cup, and then we'll talk about the Champions League part, and then we'll talk about match of the week, which is Manchester United versus Aston Villa. So, this was the Canadian League round was something that we really wanted to talk about, right? Predominantly because VAR has outlawed so many bad offside goals to a point where you don't even know what the heck is offside anymore already. So this is the first time, I think, in a very long time, right, we have a very clear, defined understanding of why offside. So, like, Ned, correct me if I'm wrong, right? The rule is that as long as your entire body is in front of the defender, that is considered offside. Am I correct?
Yes, your entire body has to be in front of the last defender for it to be considered offside in this new trialed out offside rule.
Correct. So does that mean that then I got this question. So are we talking about whole body, or let's say, for example, if they do the stupid VAR line, then it's like your foot is in line with the defender. Is that considered still offside, or is it considered onside?
No, it's considered offside as long as your entire body, like the whole stretch of the body, your heel, fingers-ish, as long as it's past the last defender, it's then considered offside. Anything else, and it's fair game, according to the rules.
I tell you, right, all the running behind guys are gonna thrive on this, man. Like,
if this rule goes global, like if FIFA make it a global rule, we need to re-sign Darwin Núñez.
Oh, bro.
Can you imagine how many chances this man? So okay, from what I understand, Darwin's game, right, is he's a striker that unfortunately needs a lot of chances to be fed to him, which is why he enjoyed playing with Mo Salah, which I think he would enjoy playing with players like Wirtz or Soboslai, who is just pass it to him. The amount of chances he will get extra because of this new offside rule, I tell you, best striker in the world. I mean, not really, because he won't finish half his chances, but
yes, exactly.
Still, because of the extra chances, he'll be the best.
No, but can you think about it, right? Like, can you imagine, right? Like, strikers, especially, example would be like Harry Kane. Harry Kane has this habit of, right, he'll always purposely stay in the offside position. Then when the ball comes, he will kind of drift back, then he'll drift in and out of offside on, right? You imagine that's with the current rules, right? If basically to him it's like, okay, I can just go put my leg there, make sure that I'm still ahead of everybody, right? Then I'm just gonna run. I think Harry Kane's gonna get tap-ins galore from this start thing.
I think we are sort of overestimating how easy it's gonna be for strikers, because now they have to relearn their timing. And that's fair. Yeah, for most of these guys, they spend, let's say Harry Kane, they spend a decade in this position timing their runs to the exact moment. I think, yes, it's going to make it easier for them. But if they're keeping that in mind, they're going to sort of relearn the timings of their runs. Because now they're afforded a lot more space. But once they know they're afforded a lot more space, they still have to time the run to make sure that they are still a bit behind the last defender, or at least on par the last defender, so that they're not making their runs, straight off the bat once their whole body is past it. So it's still a bit of things to relearn. I don't know. I didn't play much football, so I wouldn't know how difficult it is to time the runs like that. But I think there has to be some sort of adjustment period for that.
I think the other thing also about that one I do agree, because if let's say you're trying to relearn how you're gonna make a run run naturally in their instincts. But I think they have fine. I think the trickier one probably will be like as a defensive line, how are you gonna run? How are you gonna do offside trap?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like where's your line? Like how do you ensure that thing? Because it's gonna be like, how to say, like it's gonna be too obvious if let's say you're always gonna be in front of the striker. But the thing is that if you're too in front of the striker, right, you're going like closer and closer to the center line. Means that you're not gonna lay evenly. You go high line already.
Offside traps are going to suffer the most from this rule, if it goes through.
Correct. So it's like if you go too high, the striker just has to make sure that, okay, I'm just there. If not, the winger just has to try to play his run a bit more. But at least if you were to do current football, you don't really have to be like in front of the striker or the attacker. You can kind of be like in line with the same center, then hope and pray that something happens. But this one is because it's whole body, right? It's either you draw your line up, the striker can just take his time, and then if they go over the top, his foot is on your line, right? You're screwed already.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would say that I think the defensive line, they have to figure it out a bit more than the attackers, right? But it does, on paper, sound like it's going to be more interesting in terms of attacking football.
I mean, we just wait and see. Maybe it's a reason for us to start watching the Canadian Premier League, if you know anyone who plays there.
No idea, bro.
Yeah. So
no idea, bro.
We just have to wait and see. Maybe we'll catch glimpses of the rule in effect this season. Maybe controversial clips. I'm sure people will start talking about it, regardless of if they watch the Canadian Premier League or not.
Yeah. Agreed. But like it's interesting because this is the first time in a long time, right, to conclude this portion, right, is that this is the first time we've had a very clear understanding of offside. It's basically whole body and nothing else.
Yep.
Like that one is very clear cut. There's no like, oh, his elbow is here, he's offside, or certain body part, right? It's whole body. So it means that if let's say the defender is behind you and your feet is in front of him, that's offside. But if your feet is in line with the defender, but your upper body is ahead, that's considered onside. So it's like no mess up interpretation. But I will say this, if there's any league that will mess up this type of thing for implementation, right, it's called the EPL and the PGMOL. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, right? If there's any league that will mess this type of thing up.
Could be La Liga as well. I heard the refereeing there is quite terrible, honestly.
With that, no more tomfoolery about VAR already, because I've got a lot of issues. And last week, me and Paul were like, even if they make any changes to corner kick FC and the wrestling inside the box, right, the changes will not happen until next season, right? And then how Webb has already kind of stated, right, there's no changes until next season. Yeah, so that's basically it, right? But speaking of which, in terms of Arsenal, right, yes, we did not have a EPL this weekend, but against Mansfield, they kind of like got away with a lot of things, right? But bro, I gotta say this, I hate Arsenal so much, right? Because why are you tugging on Mansfield Town players?
The real answer is, why are you wasting time against Mansfield Town?
Correct. Like why are you tugging on their shirts? Like I saw Mosquera, I saw some of the players, right? They're just like trying to pull the Mansfield Town players. I'm like, bro, you guys can win based on player quality alone. But I will admit that Mosquera cannot own.
I think it was that goal by Mansfield Town. The mistake was on the right back. What's his name? Marnie Salmon. Yes, I don't think he thought of it as a risky pass, but it was on Mosquera for not running after the ball.
Yep. And
collecting the loose ball, but that gave Mansfield Town the opportunity to score that first goal for them. Which I will admit, even in League One sides, I feel if you make these kinds of mistakes, like the teams will take advantage of it and they will score that goal against you.
It's like we were talking about this before we came on, right? Like the lower leagues or like they call it the EFL, like the English Football League, right? EFL, right? So Championship and below, right? It's very different because it kind of feels like a bit more of the older school EPL, the more rough, more direct, more straightforward physicality, right? I think maybe that's the reason why these type of games become so much more interesting. Because to be fair, right, like there were a few clashes this during the FA Cup weekend where it was like lower league clubs versus the EPL teams. Of course. And they were all quite interesting games. One particular team got knocked out, Sunderland, which by Port Vale, which we'll talk about a bit later, right? But in this game against the Arsenal one, like you imagine taking to Town, right? Although it was a slightly not the strongest Arsenal team, but it's still a lower league team, and you're taking down the league, the best, considered best team in England. Like you're fighting toe to toe with them as much as you can.
You know, it's quite crazy that at halftime, they had to take out Marnie Salmon and take out I forgot who they pulled out for, but
Calafiori.
No, they wasn't Calafiori. I remember the subs, but I remember Arteta bringing on Hincapié and Eberechi Eze to and not even at like the 60th, 70th minute. This was like early, like 50th minute. Like you just put them on because I think he just wanted to seal the deal and win. And yes, Eberechi Eze in the end got Arsenal the win. But I think it's I think this game, if anything, is a statement saying that really don't like take a chance with these lower league sides anymore. I think if Klopp were to put his user strategy or just putting in the kids, he could have got them over the line sometimes. But I think nowadays it's a really, really tough game out there.
Is something that essentially last time, right, you could get away with, especially a lot of Premier League Cups. I mean, like for example, right, City did it, United have done it before, where we will purposely play like the second team or the younger kids during the early rounds of the FA Cup or the EFL Cup, right? But then now, based on the quality of the teams, right, like you're saying like Mansfield Town, right? Okay, it's Mansfield Town, but losing 2-1 against Arsenal in the FA Cup match is nothing to be ashamed of, for a lower league team.
And you think about it, Mansfield Town, they themselves admitted it. I was watching like pre-match interviews. Manager said that they are actually in a relegation battle. They're trying to stay in League One, actually, and to put up that kind of performance against Arsenal is really a something to behold upon. I think they really put on a really good fight. It's just individual quality trumped at the end of the day. That Eze goal really, really came out of nowhere, as well as Noni Madueke, screamer to get the game started off. But I do want to note that Mansfield Town actually created the most XG against Arsenal this year, and they're the first and only team this year to go beyond 2 XG created against Arsenal. Which is quite crazy. You know, this is a League One team in the relegation battle. They should not be doing this well against Arsenal, but you know, maybe it's FA Cup magic. Maybe it's just, you know, it's a big game they want to capitalize on, and their last meeting was like 50 years ago. It's good. It's good publicity for them. So
and like even so, like Raya didn't play Kepa starter, right? But Kepa had to make some decent saves to actually just like make sure that the things didn't go sideways. Go sideways, right? And I also do think that it's also because maybe the mentality of the EPL teams versus like Mansfield Town, right, is slightly different, because to the EPL team it's like, it's just a lower league team and expected to win, just a kick-about and everything like that. But to Mansfield Town, right, it's a FA Cup. It's a big game. It's like a cup final to them, because in their hearts they know that I'm not gonna get to a FA Cup final, but I'm gonna try my darndest and prove that we can fight with the big boys. Basically the best team in England currently right now at the moment. So for context, right, Mansfield Town is 16th in League One. So that is very far away from where Arsenal is. And basically, if you were to put it on paper, right, Mansfield Town has no chance of it being this close. But the fact that Arsenal had to score 2 screamers, right, just to even get over the line, right, actually kind of shows you all you need to know already. That it wasn't that straightforward a game. But I will say this, there was a player from Arsenal that kind of impressed me. Dowman is not bad.
Dowman was a very early talent spotted at the beginning of this season. He's been a bit unfortunate with injuries. If I'm not wrong, this is his first senior start with Arsenal, and also his first start since pre-season or early season, if I'm not wrong. He's one of the ones that have impressed a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you're a youngster, anything can happen. Not to say, I mean, we've seen so many cases of these, like wonder kids ended up going nowhere. Like Liverpool definitely have their fair share of these kind of wonder kid types. So we'll just see how it goes. Hopefully, maybe he gets a loan move next season once he's fully recovered from injury. See how much playtime Arteta is willing to give him. If not, maybe loan to League One, something like that.
Yeah, we'll look at him because he's currently 16 years old. So it's a very young an early development stage for a football player. Like I don't expect him to be a mainstay in the first team for maybe another 5 to 6 years if he does decide to stay Arsenal.
Tell that to Lamine Yamal, man.
Lamine Yamal is a once in a generation talent, bro. It's like Mbappe. It's like he's gonna say that to Mbappe or like Vinny when they're that young.
No, Vinny at that young wasn't okay. Don't get me wrong. I think Vinny is a good player, but I don't think Vinny that young was, a world. I mean, he had to take some time to settle into that room.
Yeah, not like Mbappe or like Yamal type of like immediate world beater lah. So I think that's where we can look forward to, right? But I think Arsenal probably they're going to focus back on the league now, considering the fact that they have to play Everton, which is not an easy game, but it's also set piece FC.
Well, we'll wait and see.
We're back.
Anything happen. Stranger things definitely have happened.
We're back. Like that thumbnail, right? I have it like as an art piece, bro. Last week's thumbnail, the one where all the Arsenal players are hugging the Chelsea players. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, right? The only teams that have scored more corner kick goals in the past was Oldham and West Bromwich Albion,
which is crazy.
Which is a bit sad that the fact that this is what's happening to my league. That is possible league champions. But moving on, I think the biggest upset for the FA Cup was definitely Port Vale beating Sunderland.
Yeah, definitely.
For a team, right, like to put everything into context, right, we were saying that Mansfield Town is like what, 16th?
Yes.
Port Vale is dead last in League One, and they beat Sunderland.
Sometimes it's a performance like this that gets the team riled up to finish out the rest of the season, whether they finish it out on a strong note.
Yep.
Even if their season ends terribly, like Plymouth last season, they say, "Oh, we beat the reigning champions." Oh, we beat Liverpool last season.
Yeah,
same thing. It's the miracle of the cup, man. Really, anything happens. It's one of those like few competitions where you can't really predict results because.
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, there were cases where like Sunderland, I was really wondering what the heck they were doing. Like Luke O'Nien, right? Like I don't know what the heck he was doing with the back pass, although he's a goalkeeper. Like if that had gone into the net, right, that would have been the greatest own goal I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think Luke O'Nien is a starter anymore at Sunderland.
No, but I think he was captain that day.
I mean, okay, look, Luke O'Nien, for context, right, is a footballer that I've actually been following for a while.
Yeah.
Because, number one, he's Sunderland's captain in the championship, and he was probably a nailed-on starter. He started as a central defensive midfielder. As he's grown older, he's moved more into the centre-back role. But also, fun fact, Luke O'Nien is eligible to play for Singapore. Yeah,
that one I know, right? But in this particular context, right, it was a very Singaporean football move.
Come on, man.
Bro, I'll be frankly honest, right? Like, did you see it? Like, he back pass, right? He was in his third, right? But he wasn't even anywhere. It was like closer to the halfway line. He kicked the ball back, right? If his goalkeeper didn't hit the ball over the bar, right, that would have gone into the net.
You know what that reminds me of? I think that reminds me of a little bit of Supersly versus Barnsley earlier on this season. He backheeled it to Alisson. He fumbled the pass and the striker ended up taking advantage of it. I think it's a little bit of a bit of an arrogance move. Like, you don't think like these like lower sides are gonna like capitalize on it, so you like start doing stupid shit like this, and then it ends up backfiring on you. I think it's a little bit like that in that sense.
I mean, for that one, right, it was just a high lob ball, right, that literally could have gone anywhere, right, and just so happened the trajectory was going into the goal. So, fortunately, his goalkeeper saved his butt. But I will say this, I give props to the Port Vale goalkeeper, right. He did save out some like very nice shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And he kind of like put them into a position where Port Vale could actually win this game, even though I do think that the goal was actually very messy.
It has to be messy. Look, there's no clean way of winning football games when you're playing when your League One side playing against a Premier League side.
Yeah, that's
automatically
true.
Right. You are at disadvantage because of the excess of quality of players. Not only in that starting 11, whether they play a weekend starting 11 or on their bench. If like, they need to close out a game, bring on the bench players, they're going to help you close out their game. You got to take every opportunity given to you to win against these sides. And I think Port Vale did really well at that, and they deserve to move on. Now it's just who gets them next.
Yep, I agree. Because, I mean, if you were to really look at it, in like the total context, it is teams like this, right, like lower leagues, right, where, okay, my only chance is a set piece. Like, legit is really the only chance of a set piece. And the goal really came from a set piece.
Yeah.
So like, if all it takes, and football's a very fun, strange game, right? It's like all it takes, right, is just one goal or one chance.
Yeah.
It's a game of chances at the end of the day, right? It's like, if you don't take your chances, you don't win.
Plymouth beat Liverpool on penalties. One penalty, that was it.
Correct. And sometimes at the end of the day, right, all you need was like, sometimes, you imagine, for a lower league side, right, to get into a penalty shootout with a Premier League team, right, it's like basically like, okay, I've survived the hard part already.
Yeah.
Because penalties is, the moment you go to penalties, right, anything can happen, bro.
Just ask Grimsby.
Yeah lah. I know. But I had Andre Onana. So I had Andre Onana, right, which was a horrible. But I mean, this is the upset where it was, right? Wrexham, side note, right, nearly did kind of almost
that was
knock Chelsea out also.
That was quite a game. That was really, really quite a game.
Correct. But
really, they could have gotten away with it. Wrexham actually almost equalized, but had the goal disallowed.
Yes. Yeah. And then they had the red card.
Yeah,
on one
red card. Yeah.
Alejandro Garnacho, which I don't know, bro. Do you think it was a red?
Debatable.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Can be considered a red in some eyes.
It can go either way, like to me, because the tackle didn't really look like it was full contact, but his stats were showing.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to go in that direction, I can't fault you for saying either, because on one hand, start showing, on the other hand, minimal contact. But then again, why was his stats that high? You know, it's back and forth. I was okay with the decision, I guess, at the end of the day, because there is reasonable cause for concern.
Yes,
in that kind of challenge. Then again, you can go back and forth on this, but you know, at the end of the day, the call is made. Can't really do much about it. Wrexham lost in the end, and we sort of always knew that they were going to lose due to, you know, the formation quality difference.
Correct,
but still a pretty good game. Still a pretty memorable FA Cup campaign for them.
And I think that of all the teams that played Premier League, right, this was the hardest one in terms of like positional, like technically in positions, and because Wrexham is 6th in the Championship.
Yes.
So in comparison to, let's say, Port Vale or Mansfield Town, right, this was generally on paper a relatively harder game because they are closer to the Premier League in terms of overall position. But the Chelsea defending was in shambles because their first goal by Smith, right, was just a ball over the top.
Yeah. I mean, you can sort of make the argument for Leeds, Norwich as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure where Norwich are on the championship table, because Leeds are 16th, if I'm not wrong, in the EPL.
Norwich is 17th.
Norwich is, okay, yeah. So the gap between Wrexham and Chelsea were closer.
Correct. So I think Southampton also were close. Southampton beat Fulham, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Southampton also beat Fulham. So championship beating out a Premier League side again.
Correct. And Southampton is 8 currently, but in terms of paper, Wrexham is 6. So on paper, Wrexham is probably the hardest, like,
quote unquote
team that plays that quote unquote that play an EPL team. Like, which I mean, it's kind of cool, right? Knowing that like, oh, EPL teams are going out or like could have gone out, and then the championship teams actually going out, which makes football fun because it doesn't mean that you are in a better league. It doesn't mean that you actually play better football on the day, because every cup is just a single round.
The FA Cup. That's just the magic of the FA Cup and how it works. We've always known that giant killing is a very common thing in the FA Cup itself.
Yep. Agreed. That's why now Man United are only playing one league game a week.
Minimum amount of games.
And you still lose to Newcastle United. Never mind. I'm not gonna like go too much into that, right? But I think this is fun because sometimes, right, I think the issues we've had in the FA Cup in the past was that there wasn't a lot of upsets. It was always very like, oh, you know who's gonna end up at the end, right? But this weekend provide us with a lot of things that all of us were kind of like, huh? Oh, that happened. That happened, right? Which makes football fun. Which makes us remember why we like football so much.
It's those kind of results where like you don't think about much of the game, and then you wake up and check live score or football, and you're like, oh, what the hell? Then you start watching the highlights, and you're like, oh, okay, so that's what happened. That kind of thing.
Yeah, but I do agree, bro, that the Mansfield Arsenal game, right, was probably the best game of the weekend.
Yeah,
in terms of pace. It was really very back and forth. It was like out of your comfort. It's like to Arsenal, it's not your comfort zone anymore. This is different already.
Yeah.
This is like grassroots football or like going up to grassroots football. But we shall see. Moving on, we've got a Champions League particular game to talk about because we're going to have Real Madrid playing Man City. Currently, right, bro, I'm going to read you out the list of people that are injured. Rodrigo, Militao, Alaba, Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Ceballos, Alvaro Carreras, and Eduardo Camavinga. Militao is late March. Mbappe is early March, so there's a possibility he could play in this game. Bellingham is out until mid-April. Ceballos is early April. Militao is late March. Rodrigo is out until next season.
It's not looking good.
Nope. I won't be surprised if Real Madrid get knocked out.
No, but you have to consider that this is a significantly weakened Man City side, no matter how much Pep has actually spent on the side.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a stoppable force versus movable object. I don't know how to describe this. This is probably the least excited I've been for Real Madrid Man City matchup, and they play the Champions League every single year. This is their second time playing against each other in this campaign.
But I got a question, right? Do you think conspiracy theory, right? They're purposely trying to put Real Madrid and Man City together, on purpose.
It's the whole thing with you put Real Madrid and Liverpool together, regardless they'll end up meeting somehow. They'll either get drawn or they'll meet in the knockout stages.
Yep.
I mean, there's always been conspiracy theories of certain clubs meeting certain other clubs at certain periods of times. Remember the times where Liverpool and Chelsea will always meet in quarterfinals or semifinals?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. I can't definitively say if there is a conspiracy against any of us or if there's something happening, but it is weird that it's happened 3-4 seasons in a row. Meeting Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Let's just talk about this, right? I'm just gonna read out all the EPL teams that are playing this week, right? All the things I think. Newcastle's playing Barcelona. I don't know how that's gonna happen. Chelsea's playing PSG. Arsenal's playing Leverkusen. Spurs is playing Atletico Madrid. I don't know. Everybody forgets that Spurs is still in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And then Liverpool is playing Galatasaray. All of these games are not easy.
Yeah, definitely.
And Liverpool's good. You're gonna get the welcome to hell.
This is not even our first time this season playing Galatasaray, and we have to play that another 2 times.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the third.
And you're playing away, first game.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Second leg at Anfield has always been our specialty.
Yep.
I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm more interested in Arsenal. Not Arsenal. Sorry. I'm more interested in Atletico and Spurs.
Yeah, but for context, right? Before this, the games we have played before this episode goes out.
Yes. Unfortunately.
So the games that basically are going to be played after this episode goes out is basically Arsenal, Leverkusen, Chelsea, PSG, Real Madrid, Man City. The throwaway knockout is Bodo Glimt and Sporting. I don't think anybody's gonna watch it.
What do you mean? This is the most exciting game of the thing. I want to see what Bodo Glimt does against. Have you not seen Bodo Glimt's record this season?
I get that, but just the thing is that Bodo Glimt maybe if they had played like Newcastle or Atalanta, because Atalanta is playing Bayern Munich.
Okay.
So also Bodo Glimt Sporting, right, is the least fanfare match in the entire tournament right now, in the entire knockout stage.
Okay, fine, I get it. Bodo Glimt Sporting, neither of them are quote unquote a big club, but it's still gonna be an interesting watch. I'm not gonna turn on the TV at 4 a.m. just to go and watch Bodo Glimt Sporting, but I will watch the highlights afterwards and see what the hell went on.
Oh, dude, definitely. Maybe it's the most fast-paced game in the entire
You knocked out Inter, can you believe it? You knocked out Inter Milan. Inter Milan were Champions League final not too long ago.
Correct, but the thing is that they didn't have the best goalkeeper in the world. Okay, but I don't know how Inter got knocked out. I'm surprised, right? But I'm gonna just run through everything with you, right? Does Newcastle have a chance against Barcelona?
No. No.
Does Chelsea have a chance against PSG?
Yes.
The reigning Champions League.
Yes.
Champions League winners.
PSG have not been good this season.
Okay, fair point.
But then again, they could pick up the pace in January. PSG are in a title race with Lens in League 1, in League 1. Do you know that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that until my friend told me while watching the Mansfield game. Lens are not going to win League 1, but let's be real.
I mean, you think about it, right? To all of us, mentality rise, right? It's like your brain is like, who's winning League 1 or PSG? That's what your brain goes to.
It's PSG, but the fact that the other team is pushing them this hard when they had such a walk in the park last season. Okay, anyways, I think Chelsea do have a chance. Maybe not in current form, but there is a chance. I feel.
Yeah. Atletico and Spurs, right? Just give it to Atletico. Spurs, you don't even think about it.
Hey, you don't know, man. Like, Spurs are so chaotic right now. Simeone might not be able to keep up. I'm going to be very real with you.
No, okay, so are we going to go there? Is Spurs getting relegated?
Stop. We ask this question every single week. Is Spurs getting relegated?
It's a genuine question because they're the only team technically out of the considered EPL Big Six, right, that could be in this position. I mean, United's top 3 now, right? We're not in the same boat as them as compared to last season, statistically speaking, right? But the thing is that now it's like there's only one.
I prefer not to speak on that. I don't know any Spurs fans personally, but I prefer not to speak on that. Look, I said it before. I might eat my words that Spurs are too big to go down. Look at the way they play. I might just be eating my words.
Okay, just to put everything into context, right? They are only 1 point ahead of West Ham and Nottingham Forest. West Ham is 18 with 28.
You know, I'm so glad that the bet I made earlier on this season of me having to buy a Richarlison shirt if Spurs finish over Liverpool this season is never going to work out.
I know.
It's never happening again.
I would have loved it for you to get a Richarlison.
I would have loved it too, but that's not happening.
Maybe I can get you a Richarlison jersey, right? But this is with a championship tag.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, regardless, we'll have to see that Atletico game. I don't know. Atletico have this history of shitting the bed in Champions League.
Yeah,
and
bro, because
they shit the bed to the weirdest teams of all time.
Yes, I agree, right? But the team that they're playing, right? Just to put it into context, right? This is why I think they're going to get relegated. This is the last thing I'm going to say about Spurs getting relegated, right? Is that they're going to play Liverpool and they're going to play Nottingham Forest next.
Okay, Liverpool are not doing that well either. We struggled against them last time.
Correct, but the thing is that Nottingham Forest and Spurs in a relegation battle. Whoever wins that game is probably not going to get relegated.
We'll see.
Let's see. So now we've got the Champions League things. It's going to be quite exciting because it's really a lot of big matches. But let's just see what happens. Right, we're getting down to the wire. It's the last round of 16 now. We're going to move on to the quarterfinals after that. So our match of the week, right, is the battle for third place because everybody knows, right, the top 2, right, is City and Arsenal. Man United versus Aston Villa, 51 points each. United have a higher goal difference. Aston Villa lost the last 2 games. But then again, on any given day, United can just randomly lose, as they did to Newcastle. So, who's coming on top, bro? From a neutral perspective, not as a Liverpool fan.
Wow. This is why I genuinely don't know where.
It's not great, but it's not bad at the same time.
I don't know. I still feel Carrick is on his new manager bounce, even after they lost to Newcastle.
Bro, they lost to Newcastle, it was just poor defending.
Yeah, no, that was about to say. It wasn't sloppy coaching either. I just feel like United's defense have been very sloppy this season.
Yep,
which is why they lost to Newcastle. It's not on Carrick.
And it was also selfish attack play, because Mbemo could have squared it to Sesko. Sesko should have had that, then it would have been 2-2. But side note, right, minus that, right, it was poor defending. But do you think Michael Carrick can sustain this long term? We'll
see, because it's not confirmed that he's going to be the permanent manager.
There are talks, there are rumors.
There are talks. There's always going to be talks and there's always going to be rumors. It's just how football works. We will never know 100% what goes on behind the scenes. For all we know, like this new manager bounce can carry him to a permanent position. Whether that actually happens,
Yeah.
I don't think it's right to say, oh, can he sustain this when he not even guaranteed to know whether he has it in the bag at this point.
Yeah.
But I really have no notes about this game. Like these two teams are really in really, really, really awkward positions right now.
Yeah.
I feel like in the race for the last three Champions League spots, right? No one wants to take it. Liverpool lost, Chelsea lost, United lost. The only Villa won their game previously. No, Villa lost also. Who won their game? Chelsea won their game. Or did Chelsea draw? I don't even remember.
Chelsea lost to Arsenal.
Yes. Okay, yeah. No one wants the place. Everyone's shitting the bed while Brentford is slowly catching up.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm just gonna say a draw. Maybe 2-2. I don't think Unai Emery has it in him to not score a goal, but I don't think he has it on him to coach a good defense. So 2-2.
For me, right, as a Man United fan, I gotta have hope. 2-1.
2-1? Okay. Fair enough.
2-1 to Man United, right? And I hope Sesko scores. So, with that, bro, you got anything else to add before we close off this episode?
It's been a boring yet interesting week. Not some results that we thought we would see from the FA Cup. Not many notable games other than the race for third place.
Yep.
But we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be a fun game. I'm hoping it's going to be a fun game given the two stocks that are up on the plate.
I'm hoping it's an easy game.
I mean, of course, as a United fan.
Yeah, as a United fan, I'm just hoping it's an easy game. Like, just give me stress-free, right? But I mean, like, going back to the FA Cup, right? Is the reason is results like that or games like that that remind us why we love football so much?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it's just an FA Cup thing. Honestly, it's the magic of the cup that
it's true. But
drive it like this.
Yes, that's true. So Champions League also this week. So elimination football is actually back around the corner already. So now it's all the period that we all love so much. So with that is it for this week's episode of the Football Kaki. All right, so that's it for this week's episode of Football Kaki, brought to you by the Chit Chatter Podcast Network. Now, for those of you who are tuning in, we just want to say thank you, and we hope you continue to watch our other shows, which are the Kopi Bros every Monday, where we have some fun interviews lined up for you. And if you do like the news, we do have the Loud Sales Podcast every Friday, where we come together and talk about the serious news, the funny news, and the unique news that happens in Singapore and around the world. So with that, Nat, you got anything else to add before you head off?
Nope. Have a good week, everyone. I hope it's as eventful as the FA Cup weekend.
Yes. So with that, have a great week to everybody. See you soon. For all the Champions League guys, good luck in the Champions League. For all Man United fans, let's just hope that Aston Villa doesn't give us stress. If not, see you soon. Have a great week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.